when I started, I didn't know I was going to be working with top players. That's been something that's been granted me over the years as my career has progressed. But it is a blessing to work with players of the highest possible quality and highest level, because of course there are no real restrictions on what you can do tactically and technically with them. So you don't have to think, well, it would be nice to play this type of football, but the players I'm working with can't do that. The players you're working with can do anything really, and it's just up to you to find the best system of play, the best tactics, the best technical work, which will give them a chance to play to the best of their ability. They are at the top of their tree. They know they're at the top of their tree. They know that they are very, very good. And of course they'll make probably higher demands on you if your coaching isn't up to standard, if the advice you're giving, if the information you're giving, if the way you're treating them is in some way, in their eyes, not good enough, then of course A, they'll let you know, and B, it'll be hard for you to keep your job working with them unless you find a way to give them, if you like, what they think they need from their coach. And so that is a challenge, but it's a challenge that you learn to meet, I suppose, as you go along. It would be very hard for someone inexperienced to go straight into that type of work, but luckily I got my early experiences in Sweden. The first 14 years of my career, 12 of them were in Sweden with top clubs, but on the other hand, not quite maybe the stress that has come in latter years working in the Premier League and with England or in Italy. I think that's easier than people would imagine. You know, I think the impression sometimes is that players become more egoistic as they advance, if you like, or get closer to the top of their careers, that they become more selfish, that they don't want to listen. I've got to say that if I take my recent experiences the last 8 years since I came back from the Finnish national team to work in the Premier League and in England, I haven't found that at all. I found the players very receptive to ideas, very keen, if you like, to try new things, and most importantly of all, very, very aware that it's a team game, and if we're going to be successful, we've got to become a good team, and to become a good team, I've got to make certain that I take what I do and mix it, if you like, with the best of what the others can do. Well, I think that, you know, humility is a very big quality, because we're talking about players, if they're going to reach the top, that have obviously got talent. They've obviously got the ability to get to the top. They're big enough, they're strong enough, they're physical enough, they're technical enough, they understand the game well enough. So all of these things have got to be there to reach the top anyway. You can't reach the top without having exceptional playing qualities. But what's going to keep you at the top, or what's going to maybe make the little lift between being good and being exceptionally good, I think dedication, of course, and desire. You can never take that out of the equation. But I think humility plays a part too, you know, making certain that you keep everything in perspective, you keep your feet on the ground, and you don't allow the praise, if you like, to go to your head and maybe send you off in a wrong direction, because we all know in sport that there will be good times and bad times, and that's where humility sometimes can help you survive the bad times, wait for the good times to come back, and that will eventually lift you to the real top of the tree, because when you're there, you'll have experienced both sides of the coin. Very few people go straight up. Most people have to go up, down, and it's in those moments, I think, that qualities like humility and dedication, determination, that's when those qualities come to the fore. But to be a good leader on the pitch, you need leadership skills. It's not just enough to be a good player. Being a good player and leading by example is very useful, But leadership skills have to be learnt and have to be honed as well. You have to consistently work on them. And I don't know that we do enough in our sport in that area. And the other thing about leaders on the field, it can be a double-edged sword, because often the person we see as the leader on the field is a dominant character. You know, he's maybe one of the best players, maybe very popular within the group, quite dominant within the group. It's his voice you hear most of all. It's to him players are looking for advice, if you like, which way should we go? And if that guy is working with you and he's on the same wavelength as you and the team, that's very helpful. But if he's actually working for himself, it can be quite unhelpful, because the team gets split between what the coach and the coaching staff are suggesting is the best way to win the game and what this so-called leader decides is best for him.